Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have supervision, enhanced hearing, extraordinary reflexes, to be, dare we say, superhuman? Well, Roku's new Pro Series TV can't do any of that for you. But with a 4K screen, side-firing speakers, and a blazing fast refresh rate, it'll sure feel like it. Elevate your entertainment using all your favorite apps like iHeart and play all your music, radio, and podcasts with the new Roku Pro Series. Your senses aren't better. Your TV is.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
I don't know how you found us,
but I'm so thankful that you did. It's Johnjay and Rich.
There was a murder in my neighborhood, and it's very serious. In fact, People Magazine actually wrote about it yesterday. Like, it's gotten some pretty high stuff because it's a very interesting story and it's very sad. So then Rich says, I wonder, besides Johnjay, who else has had a murder on their street? Mm-hmm. Right? It was a good question. I thought, I wonder.
Curious, isn't it?
Because, when I drive in every morning, the way I come to work, I drive by the murder scene every morning. It's so bizarre. And then I found out through a friend of mine that he went there for dinner on over the weekend, and he drove by there. It was packed. Like, it's turning into a
place people want to see?
Local tourist attraction. Other than me, who's had a murder on their street? Jill, good morning.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Hi. Was there a murder on your street?
Absolutely.
What are the details?
A couple of years ago, I was putting out the trash on a Thursday morning, and I heard the pops. And, I just shrugged. I was like, another day in paradise. I didn't look up. I didn't do nothing except continue to put out the trash and check my mail. And then went back inside, and then suddenly cops were everywhere, just swarming my parking lot and the dogs, and they came rushing in. And I was like, what did I do? And it turned out the house right across from our street, the man had got shot in the chest point blank by a teenager, and they took his $40 and car and drove away.
Wow. Okay. So there's a murder on your street.
And you were literally right there in the action. That's so scary.
And, it kind of disturbed, the area because I work at a car lot. So they were wondering, was he trying to steal that car? Could that have been me? But I think from, local rumor, it turned out to be more personal. But it was pretty severe. They had us on lockdown till they called them, and they were teenagers, just kids.
Boy, you've seen some stuff. If you hear a bunch of gunshots and you're like, I think I'll still get the mail.
Yeah.
It's not the first murder I've been near.
Oh, my gosh.
There was another one at my other job. There was a bar across the street from that grocery store, and just heard tons of pops. And I told the manager, I said, I think that's gunfire. He said, no, I think it's just fireworks. And no, it turned out to be gunfire. And one of our cashier's uncles was actually the guy who got murdered across the street.
Wow, Jill. Okay, well, thanks for sharing those stories with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sierra, was there a murder on your street?
There was. Well, it was actually the next street, and wasn't actually a murder on the street, but I lived on the next street from the baseline killer.
Whoa.
Oh.
I don't know anything about the baseline killer.
Yeah, so I remember back, I was probably about in the 7th grade, and all of this was going on. There was, murders all over. And I remember one day playing outside with my friend, and we were like, oh, we should walk down to the grocery store that was down the street. And she's like, no, we can't. The baseline killer's out there. And I'm like, what are the chances that we would ever run into him? And then like 2 weeks later, found out he lived literally where my house is, and then across the street's a house, and then he lived behind their alley.
You're like, what are the chances that the baseline killer is going to come after us? We live on baseline.
No,
We're on baseline.
Nowhere near baseline.
Do you think he hears that? He's like, I guess I can only kill on baseline now.
Yeah, no. He actually lived like in like Phoenix, like Central Phoenix, like off 28th Street in Thomas area. And like probably a week or two before he was caught, he actually attacked a woman at a car wash that was right there, and he jumped into my friend's backyard and then over his fence to get away in the alley. And it makes sense because their alleys like connect.
Hey, wasn't
So
the
I guess he
baseline
ran
killer,
home.
he was shooting people, wasn't he? He was shooting people from the freeway?
No. He was like physically murdering people. Like I think he did like murdered 2 women at like a food truck or something at some time. I think maybe stabbing them. I don't think he was shooting people.
Because I remember the baseline killer, but I thought it was, what was the guy who was shooting people on the freeway called?
I remember that. He was on the 202. I think that guy that you're talking about. I think I was in high school and that was happening.
He was the something sniper. His brother was a stand-up comedian and working with him. I can't think of his name though.
Working with him,
he was. They were stand-up. They both. They were co-collaborators.
All right,
Yeah, and I think the shootings were in the same area though too.
They were called the serial shooters. It says the baseline killer was active at the same time as 2 other Phoenix serial killers, jointly known as the serial shooters.
Wow.
Oh, okay. So that was happening at the same time, so that's why I got him confused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, Sierra, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you. What's up, Grant?
Do you guys remember when I had to call in for work one day because a guy got murdered on my car?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that happens quite a bit.
In my old apartment, and then I tried to get on the news, and when they interviewed me, they were like, so what happened? I was like, well, I was trying to get into my job at 104.7 KISS FM, Johnjay and Rich. And anyway, I like tuned into the news. They didn't use it. So,
They used mine, but I got on the news.
Yeah, I'm not powerful enough. I don't have enough clout, brother.
Stephanie, hi. Was there a murder on your street?
Yes.
What's the story?
So it was super crazy. So it turned out that I knew the backstory of the family too. So I ended up working at the gym with this guy's son, and all the neighbors were going crazy, saying that like there was a banging down the street. Like the neighbors called the police. There was banging and like doors slamming, screaming, like things when like the house was being like torn apart. And so then like tons of 911 calls came in, and so then just down the street, and so then like it was blocked off for weeks, and then no one heard anything. It's out the guy was murdered, and it turned out nothing happened for years. Turned out it was a huge drug debt that this guy owed, like tons of money, and it was like one of the most insane murders in Milwaukee, and it was just super crazy, and all the neighbors talked about it forever, and it was super crazy.
That's crazy.
But it didn't get solved for like 3 or 4 years. But yeah, it was just a super crazy thing. It was like just the loudness, and like the people talking about like they could hear like what's being thrown, like chairs banging. It was just super insane.
It's like what you would see in the movies when it comes to a drug debt.
There's something about the gunfire
like,
murders that
it's
don't
like
scare me as much as a guy coming into your house and cutting your neck up and chopping up your family members.
I can see that.
Like, in the bathroom, hearing him like screaming, slamming things, like
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
It's a nightmare.
That'll stay with you.
Little tiny suburb town, like old people live here.
Right. Well, thank you, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you.
Allie, was there a murder on your street?
Yes, there was. It was actually a few blocks away. But this guy, he lured a woman from a hotel where they were meeting at to his home where he lived with his mom. And he was confused over some supposed like drug money that was missing. And so he tried to use her to lure a drug dealer and rob that dealer. And then he just decided to kill the woman after an accidental head injury, and dismembered her and put her in some suitcases in his car. And
that's terrible. That's what I'm talking about. I would hate to have to drive by that house every morning on the way to work. Oh my God.
Yeah, super creepy. And he told his friend about the murder, and then his friend, of course, called the police, and that's when it all blew up.
All right, thank you, Allie.
That's crazy.
By the way, if I was a music producer, I would be Murder on the Street.
Okay.
Murder on the Street.
Clever.
That's Murder on the Beat.
We know.
Do you? I think it went over a lot of people's heads. Like London on the track. You with me?
Yeah, we're there.
Okay. Murder on the street. Here's Roddy Rich. I'm kidding. It's Johnjay and Rich.
What are you looking for in a new smart TV? 4K picture quality, high quality and immersive sound, a sleek design? All of those are givens, but only the new Roku Pro Series has all of those and the Roku streaming experience, an award-winning OS. Get fast, easy access to all your apps like iHeart, where you can stream all your favorite music, radio, and podcasts all day, and regular all-inclusive trips to Roku City. The new Roku Pro Series, a smart TV built by the streaming pros.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal. They include a lot more people than ourselves. Loved ones, neighbors, the communities we call home, and the causes we hold in our hearts. At Thrivent, we help plan your financial picture with the bigger picture in mind. Because even though our business is helping guide your finances, our ambition is to make it mean so much more. Thrivent, where money means more. Connect with us at Thrivent.com.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.